How does customer retention drive revenue growth? There are some good things to do, but there's also some things you can get badly wrong. And I'm going to share with you today on the podcast a company that's a big, well-known brand that got it badly wrong that's now lost me as a customer forever. I'm going to talk to you what they did wrong and how you can avoid those things and put in place strategies to make sure you do the right things with your existing customers to get more business in. Let's get into the podcast. So customer retention, it's one of those key things that's an interesting conversation in sales, in business, because it's an area where people, maybe in many cases, sort of belittle it a little bit. We talk a lot about, I've got an existing customer and they're not exciting anymore because they're providing us with this revenue, but we, can't really grow much from them. We've got to go and find new people. And I want to share with you a number of points today of how that is something, a mindset that you maybe need to change, and why customer retention drives revenue growth significantly. And it stemmed actually, there was a study done by an organization called Sherlaws. And what they identified was that if you have one service with a company, or two services I think it was with a company, then the chance of that customer staying a customer for life are 50%. But if you increase that to 4 services, the chance of that customer staying a customer for life go to 95%. And so one of the first reasons why customer retention is really important is it makes customers much stickier and stays them with us for longer. And if you've got customers that have worked with you, that love what you do, that love your company and what you stand for, and you can offer additional services to them, it can drive a significant amount of revenue growth for a long period of time. And so it's something we want to try and do, whether we're business owners or whether we're working with existing customers in our network, of how we do this. But I want to share with you an example of a company that you might be a little bit surprised how I think got this badly wrong, and that's Dyson. So Dyson is a really interesting brand. They're an incredible brand, as you know. James Dyson, incredibly talented engineer. I have a huge amount of respect for what he did with Dyson and the products that he built. He experienced failure so many times before he got the Dyson vacuum cleaner right. But Dyson pride themselves on having a brand that's a high quality offering. And in the past, I've bought lots of items from them. We've bought 3 or 4 Hoovers. I've bought their fan, their air fan. And I've also, for my wife over Christmases for a number of years, bought all of their hair products and their styling products. I don't need it myself. If you look, I haven't got the hair to do that, but my wife does. And these products are, they're expensive, right? They are expensive, but I was a Dyson customer and I was committed to Dyson and I was committed to use them. I like the brand, I like the quality, I like the simplicity of what they built. And before I had an issue with them, I liked their approach to serving them. But basically before Christmas, my wife, I bought some hair straighteners for my wife. These items were £500. So they're not a small price. And basically the whole experience with Dyson, engaging with them, was a farce from start to finish. Their customer service didn't know who I was, even though I bought the product. They wanted to speak to my wife. They then told us that the product was in warranty. And then they told us that it couldn't be sent to them, then it could, and then they messed us around delivery of when they were going to pick it up. But the final thing that really frustrated me was they basically picked this product back up. It'd been there for just over 2 years. And this is a hair straightener. So yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not the sort of person that uses that every day, but a hair straightener that costs £500. And they basically proceeded to tell us that, sorry, the product can no longer be fixed, sent it back to them, and if we wanted to buy a new one, we had to at £500, and they'd give us a small discount for that. And it made me think around, how do you turn an advocate, a person like myself who bought Dyson products, into someone that now won't buy Dyson? And she wanted new straighteners for Christmas, so I ended up buying some Cloud9. So Cloud9 is what she's bought. And I now, when all of my Dyson products fail and finish off, I'm going to go and buy a new alternative brand, because of the way in which they treated me. And customer retention is a really important thing, and it can drive revenue growth for a number of reasons. The first one is this: it's far easier to retain customers than to try and find new ones. It's far easier, but it's also far cheaper. It's a well-known fact. In fact, I think the Royal Mail did a study on it a number of years ago, which was like, it's 47% more expensive to find new customers than work with existing ones. So if I'm Dyson and they've got my name and my contact numbers and my email addresses and my home details, it's far easier when they introduce a new product or service to sell to me directly than to try and sell to someone else out there. And the benefit that Dyson had is they know that I'm prepared to pay the money for their products and services. They've got all my details. So they can reach out to me on my mobile phone. They've got all the methods to contact me. So whereas winning new customers and finding new customers is expensive, when you've got an existing one, it's cheap. You've got all their data. You've got their details. If you market and, even if someone from their sales team picked up the phone to me and sold me a product, if it was a product that I was interested in and it was a new thing they had and there was a reason for buying it, I'd be intrigued to have that conversation. So the first thing is, it's far easier to keep we're working with existing customers than to try and find new ones. The second thing is that if you're, and as I proved with Dyson, if you do have an existing product that you sell to a customer, because they've built a perception of your brand and who you are, it's far more likely that they will then buy more of your other products or services. Because either you can cross-sell that to them, and we'll talk about that in a moment, or alternatively, they've trusted your brand if they've had a good experience with what you've offered, and they've trusted your brand and therefore feel more comfortable to do that. So one of the benefits around offering, a service to a company is if you offer what you do right now, and I work with, again, some organizations that offer some services to their accounting team, if they sell in that one service, they've got 4 or 5 others, all of which have similar related problems that they can sell into. So it's far easier when you're doing that, especially in a business-to-business environment, to, once you sell in your existing service, to then go and have a follow-on conversation with that customer maybe 3 months in or 6 months in. How are things going? How are you finding things? And start to then talk to them and find out what's driving them to literally have challenges elsewhere. Or you can start to have conversations, or who does this part? Knowing the products or services you sell, you can then start saying, well, who does this for you and where's that done? They've built that trust with you. You've built that relationship to be able to open up that conversation. And, you can also be in a position, and even if you don't sell a particular service or product, you can do partnerships with other organizations that maybe are complementary to that, where you have a commission deal or an affiliate deal that can enable you to earn from that. So if someone else, if Dyson had said to me, we're working in partnership with another company, they'd like to offer you this service that other people in your situation face a challenge with, I might have gone, okay, because you're working together, I trust you, therefore I'm more likely to buy that from another company. So even if you don't have the product or service yourself, you can partner with others to build that affinity. So you can really do some great work when it comes to that. And cross-selling is a simple way to do that. And the way you can cross-sell effectively is you talk to your existing customers and you ask them what are the challenges that they're facing. So one of the things that a lot of businesses don't do is that they don't talk to their existing customers a lot, and to say to them, look, what are the other areas that you're facing a challenge in? And, if you can have a conversation with someone and you've built the relationship and you've got beneath the surface and start talking to a senior person at an organization, it may enable you to do two things. It may enable you to create that product. So let's say, I sell sales training and services to someone, and they say to me, well, we've got a problem because we haven't got anyone in our team to make these calls. I can then suggest to them, would it be helpful if I found you other people to do that? And I've got customers at the moment who I've had that exact same conversation with, where I've gone in and I've said, this is how we do things. And they've said, that's great, but we have it's great that you've helped us here, but we have a problem because we don't have any people to do this. And I've able to work alongside with a company that I have that provides people to make sales calls to do exactly that thing for them. So I've been able to create new products and services to solve the issues that existing customers have, and that generates revenue growth because they're open to sharing that with you because you've built that relationship with them. So, when customers tell you about their challenges, it enables you to generate new products or services, or to make sure you then do partnerships that can work alongside that and generate income. The other reason why working with existing customers can generate revenue growth is that, and this is probably one that your customers don't want you to hear, and if you're listening to this as one of my customers, you're probably thinking, oh, is he going to do this to us? But the reality is it does give you the chance to put your rates up slightly. So let me give an example of that. If I look at my Sky TV, for example, that I've had at home, and Sky TV is a service that it's a different service than others, but that price of that service has gone up probably 10 times since I've bought the service. And the reason being that they continue to offer a good service and the channels and what they do. And when they send me a letter that says the price has gone up by £3 or £4 or whatever it is per month, I sort of go a bit, it feels a bit, but I accept it and carry on. So when you work with existing customers, because they value what you do, and they sense, and especially if you're measuring the value that you provide to them, they're thinking, oh, well, these guys are great at what they do and they're fantastic. When they come to you then say, look, we're having to move our prices up because of inflation or cost of expenses are going up, etc., you can cope with it more, and they're more inclined to accept it because they're happy with you and your service. So, and if you've got 200 customers or 500 customers and you added 3% to the cost base of those customers, how many of them, if you've got good relationships with them and you've built good conversations, would go, okay, it's not ideal, but we accept it, rather than moaning and wanting to leave and go elsewhere? And if you did that, let's say you're a company that does, I don't know, 50 million in revenue, or if you added 3% onto your pricing for all of your customers, that could potentially be worth 2 or 3 million to the bottom line of the business, and increase you in revenue without you having to do an awful lot. So doing stuff with existing customers enables you to drive rates upwards slightly, especially if the customer values them. But I would say a word of caution there: be really sure to know that A, the customer values you immensely, and B, that there is an alternative that they can replace you with quite quickly. And that leads me on to my other element around customer retention, which, again, good organizations sort of know. And this can have a risk to it as well. But the biggest reason why people don't want to move to new solutions is change is a challenge for them. We all like what we like and we do what we do. And the thought of actually changing and having to go through the hassle of changing and to go to a new solution or a new service offering feels like a hassle. One of the reasons why your prospects are maybe not buying your service right now, if they're with an existing supplier, is because the thought of changing just sends them into a bit of, is it going to be as good as they think, and would it work? Well, we can apply that mindset to our existing customers. That the thought of change, the thought of moving from from you as an existing supplier, is actually more complicated for them. It's more challenging for them. It creates more of a, do they really want to do this? What are the risks? What are the issues of that? How do you know the company that you're moving to will be as good as you say? And, by doing that, it enables you then potentially to maybe increase prices slightly if you need to, or, utilize that customer to be able to try and generate other customers, which we'll talk about in a moment. So, change is a challenge for existing customers. So it enables you to be clever about how you can move revenue or prices upwards as a result of that. So there's two other reasons why that I think that retention is really, really important for existing customers to drive revenue growth. The first one is referrals. So if you are clever about implementing a referral scheme with your existing customers, then the best thing you can do is to look to ask them and to say, look, we've been able to help you deliver this solution for this problem. Who else in your network, or who else do you work with of a similar type that has a similar issue that we might be able to provide help with as well? And if a customer's happy and they've loved what you've done and they think it's valuable to them, then they're going to potentially know other people in their network. And especially if you're working with specific types of roles or industries, they're going to have networks of people in a similar role to them, which they can potentially then share your details with, which can generate referrals and open up new opportunities. And it's far easier to generate an opportunity from someone that's been referred you in than from you having to find that directly with no, having to go in cold. When I've been referred in by people that I know, it's far easier to have conversations and to open up business than not. So use your customers, existing customers, for referrals. If they're happy with you and you've checked their happiness, ask them to refer you. Who else do they know? And also, if you're clever about that, and if you use it on a digital marketing perspective, you can use tools like on Facebook, where you can use something called lookalike audiences, where companies will say, go and find me more people like that person. And when you start giving them the profile of a person, who that person is, and the company, it enables them to go and find 50, 100 other people like that person. So even if you can't get a referral, then you can find other people of a similar type to them. And I guess the final, element to that and to add to that is, even if you don't do a lookalike audience, you can start to find where those people go. Birds of a feather tend to flock together. So if you're wanting to generate new revenue growth, go and ask your existing customers, which are the websites they look at, which are the magazines they read, which are the events they attend in order to learn and find out more and to grow their businesses and achieve what they want to. And that enables you to then tap in and say, great, well, if they go into this event here, I can go alongside that person to that event because it's likely there's going to be other people of a similar type there at the same time. So there are so many benefits to, effectively working with your existing customers to generate new revenue. And, we sometimes think that, we have to always go and find new. And I see this a lot. I'm working with a client at the moment who is really good and wants to generate new opportunities and new leads. But I continually say to them, you've already got a list of 100 customers at the moment. How can we do more with that list of 100? How can we build stronger relationships? How can we build development plans and account plans with these people so that we can generate more conversations and then and more business with those people? And so, if your role is to generate sales and to generate new business, yes, of course, look at the existing, look at new business and new opportunities, but don't forget how you can probably make 15 to 20% additional revenue from the existing customer base you've got right now. If you work that customer base effectively, if you build the right relationships, if you see what they value, and if you start to ensure that you dig into what their problems are, they're far easier for them to work, a new solution to work with you than to choose someone else. Change is difficult. Look after those customers, build relationships, spend some time on them, and it can open up new opportunities to help you get you where you want to. And, to finish that off, Dyson didn't do that properly with me. They failed because now, not only as a result of them, peeing me off with the hair straighteners, I'm now, if they ever did approach me and say, would you want to buy this, I will tell them outright. And if they listen to this, I'll tell them the way they handled that situation, the way they peed me off. I spent £500 on a product that I expected to last more than just 2 years. And the way they handled that made me think, I don't want to work with that people. Now I'm going to be a pirate for them rather than a disciple, and someone's going to tell them not to work with them. And I will tell them, other people to do the same thing. So if you do it well, customer retention can keep customers sticky with you for years. But if you bugger it up and get it wrong, then you lose people, and then it's going to cost you an awful lot more to replace that person in the long run. So look, that's the podcast for this week about customer retention. I always finish the podcast on a inspirational story, and I wanted to do the story this week of a guy that many of you might know in the UK called Paddy McGuinness. Paddy McGuinness, I think, was a real inspiration a few months back for children in need. He cycled 300 miles from Wales to Scotland on a chopper bike. Now, if you ever want to know what, if you can safely have a look for what a chopper bike is, I've ridden 300 miles on a road bike and it's hard work, let alone a chopper bike, which has a small amount of gears and doesn't go very far very quickly. And Paddy McGuinness did it in a certain amount of days. I can't remember, it was only a small 3 or 4 days. He did that. He raised over £1 million for children in need. And I think there's an inspirational story for someone that's a major celebrity. He's been in lots of films and TV shows and the like. Doesn't need to do it, but inspired other people by taking on the challenge. And I think if you can sometimes push yourself to achieve more, whatever status you are in life, then you can not only raise money for great causes but inspire people. So have a think. If you're thinking that life's a bit tough today, maybe what it felt like for Paddy McGuinness, who's wealthy and got lots of things going for him, when he's on a chopper bike on an A road somewhere trying to cycle up a hill. It would have been tough for him. If he can do it, you can overcome what you're going through right now as well. But that's it from the podcast this week. I hope you've enjoyed. As ever, thank you for listening. Appreciate your ears, and I really appreciate you sharing the insights. Hopefully what I've shared is useful for you. If you've got a sales query or question or related to business or something around sales that you want me to chat through or talk through, then reach out to me. Drop me a note. I've covered questions for other people in the past. I'm happy to do the same for you. But if you've enjoyed, please give us a rating. That helps us so much and makes sure we can do more, reach more people with the ideas that we have and that I have to share. But if not, then wishing you a really safe and successful week ahead. Happy selling, and I'll see you soon. Take care.